In Uruguay, the first results are coming in after the general election that was held this Sunday. According to the first official results, the leftist Broad Front coalition candidate, Yamandu Orsi, reaches the 44% of the votes, while the National Party candidate, Álvaro Luis Delgado, reaches 27% of the votes. For its part, the Colorado Party obtained 15% of the ballots. If this trend is confirmed as the vote continues in counting, Orsi and Delgado would face each other in the November 24th runoff. Also, both consultations that accompanied the election day have not met the approval requirements. And now, to expand our analysis regarding Uruguay's election day, we welcome international law expert Dr. Ivonne Tellez. Ivonne, to first point out, how are you? Welcome to From the South.
Thank you, Belen. Delighted to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. Now, to begin the analysis, we would like to ask you about the context, really, that brings Uruguayan people to this election day. What do you think are the main topics, the main challenges, to really put in context this election day in terms of an international perspective?
Perfect. Well, the upcoming election in Uruguay poses a choice about the country's future regarding whether to continue this slight shift toward more market-oriented policies and private enterprises that were initiated by the current government, or to return to a focus more to strengthen the role of the state in the economy, the social protection, and the idea of the welfare state that was characterized between 2000 and 2015 with the other left governments. What we have here are three main topics that bring Uruguayans to the ballots, and that's crime, child poverty, and the aging population. Those seem to be like the main concerns, the primary concerns that voters are facing, taking into account that Uruguay is one of the most stable democracies. So maybe what this vote over here, or this election, come in a time when Uruguay stands a model of a model of political and economic stability in the region. But we have those three topics that are main concerns. Also, what we see is a probable sort of decision regarding which kind of model Uruguayans want to preserve, either to go back to this idea of the welfare state, as I was saying before, or to turn into a more neoliberal, more oriented, market-oriented country.
Okay, so just to go over the first results, according to these first results that are coming in, and also confirming what some analysts were expecting, apparently the Broad Front coalition and also the National Party will be heading to a runoff on November 24th. The Broad Front has had a significant difference in these first results, but how do you think that the forces could realign in the lead to this runoff? What can we expect in the coming weeks for these parties?
Okay, well, we have to consider as well that those topics have been a common point between the candidates. There are rising concerns, for example, about violent crime, drug gangs, drug dealing, corruption that has been more in the right wing discourse more than the left one. And the left one has been more regarding, for example, the insecurity issues. But so what I'm saying here is that there are some topics that have been common between those candidates, as they have said as well, that they will not face like a real or a strong opposition between lines, because they have some points that have a coincidence. However, if the trend continues, this possible victory of the opposition could or will occur amid a scenario of significant negotiation. And maybe if they don't achieve this parliamentary majority, that will be the first time that the broad front could govern in this way. So that means that some of these proposals, I think regarding the economy, more than political ones, could have an impact. If we take into account as well that there have been some strong points of difference, for example, in those civil liberties, or regarding, for example, what is being discussed regarding the plebiscite, the social security, sorry, plebiscite, or the other one regarding the possibility of those overnight searches. So that could maybe represent a difference between both parties. However, as we've seen in their discourses, I think that the main issue will be how, for example, Uruguay will face those negotiations with China. As the Broad Front has said, they will prefer rather to continue those negotiations, for example, using the Mercosur organization and not just a direct one. So maybe those trends we can see, if they don't achieve this parliamentary majority, we can see some difficulties regarding the governability in this sense.
So you were just addressing the international aspect of this, well, possible victory of the Broad Front. And I would like to go a little bit deeper in the international repercussions of this election. What do you think that a potential win of the Broad Front could affect Uruguay's relation with other countries in the region? Or in the other case, what continuities could we expect from a win of the National Party? What can we expect in terms of regional integration for Uruguay?
The common neighbors, the nature neighbors of Uruguay. I'm talking about Argentina and Brazil. This left wing trend that we have. I'm talking about Colombia, Brazil with Lula, with Petro, Chile as well with Boric, could possibly reflect a deeper integration, of course, because we're talking about this left-wing ideology. However, one difficult thing will be negotiations with a natural neighbor such as Argentina. However, Uruguay has been marked by a commitment, an historical commitment to regional integration, to the democratic values, to diplomacy. And in a way, also, Uruguay has positioned itself as a natural mediator and a voice for cooperation within the region. So I think what we can see, if, for example, we have the Broad Front achieving the next presidency, could be to strengthen the Mercosur membership. If we consider that Uruguay is a founding member of Mercosur and has been a strong advocate for this economic integration, what we can see is maybe strengthen these lines and these global South lines in the Southern Cone. Maybe we can. I think we can think about this relationship with Brazil and Argentina, as I was saying, maybe kind of a tension regarding, for example, Argentina's new points with, for example, with Mercosur or with these natural ties. Maybe also we can see or we can foresee, for example, this participation in UNASUR and CELAC. I think, what I'm trying to say is that UNASUR, CELAC, Mercosur could be this strong and natural scenarios for Uruguay's usual position towards a regional integration, and could be strengthened. Maybe if we don't see the Broad Front coming to the presidency, what we're going to see is a natural trend just to move away from this regional integration and maybe try just to do a direct kind of negotiation with new partners such as the BRICS, such as China, that is turning into this big new partner for the region. I don't think that this progressive diplomacy and the human rights position that Uruguay has upheld during this time will be changed or moved by either one of the candidates. But what we can foresee is this trade diversification efforts regarding which way Uruguay is gonna prefer. Even, I don't know, a more diversified trade agreements, more liberal ones, or maybe more traditional ones, right? Regional integration in a way to strengthen this welfare state.
Okay, so that is interesting, as you were saying, that we could be looking at a stronger participation from Uruguay in the integration mechanisms, such as you were mentioning. So we will be following on that trend. So before we finish, Ivonne, I would like to ask you also, during this election day, Uruguayans also voted on 2 different consultations. And for the looks of the first results, both were voted no. So I would like to ask you if there were any opinions on your part on what could indicate what led to this decision, and also to better understand how these consultations came into place in this election day.
Of course. Well, the plebiscite on Social Security emerged as a response to a recent law passed by the government and by the current president, Lacalle Pou. What he did was to raise the retirement age from 60 years to 65 years old, and to extend this individual savings system managed by the pension fund administrations. So this reform generated a strong reaction from some sectors of society, not all of them, and particularly those this labor union sector. But there was a minority that moved this plebiscite. They just reunited the 10% of the electorate. They collected the signatures of the 10% of the electorate. That was the necessary or the requirement to bring the reform to a public vote. So what Uruguayans were choosing today was 3 main elements, 3 main issues from regarding the Uruguayan pension system. The first one, to reduce the retirement age again to 60, to align the minimum pensions to the national minimum wage, and to eliminate those funds, those trust funds, because according to the initiative, in a way, is like if they is try to avoid any profit, any additional profit for the pension system. So maybe what could be thought of the result regarding the no, not more. One of them was that the initiative, as I said before, was just generated by a small group from the population, and this means that they had to make like a stronger change and regarding the law, okay, and the 3 candidates, the running candidates or the principal candidates, they were expressing again like a strong opposition to this reform. Maybe what could be explained regarding the result, the no result, is that this was promoted by the current by the current candidates, and what also one strong voice was former President Mujica, that was saying that to agree on the plebiscite reform could bring kind of a chaos to the pension system. So maybe this was a concern. This was an economic concern, That was one thing. The other one was the constitutional reform proposing to revise one of the Constitution articles, and that is that the home and houses and homes are inviolable sanctuaries, right? And no one can enter at night without the head's consent. So one of the arguments here also was to try to just eliminate this restriction regarding the night prohibition to enter into the house or to enter into homes because or in a way to control insecurity, to control drug dealing, to control other possible crimes that could happen overnight. But that means that this has to be a constitutional reform. And I think one of the strongest arguments against it was that it was not necessary to just make a constitutional reform, but this can be done without this strong reform because, first of all, the possibility, for example, to combat microtraffic, to combat drug dealing, to combat this insecurity could be done when, entering, for example, into storage facilities or secure storage facilities overnight. Also because micro-trafficking could happen within the homes of people, but the big drug and the big crimes or the main drug dealing points is not happening within houses or homes of normal people, but they just can be happening, for example, in those secure storage facilities or this other kind of places. And according to the current laws, they can enter. Security forces and the government and the state could enter into those storage facilities without reforming constitution. I think also one of the concerns could be that this is in a way a measure to overcome or to facilitate an unlawful use of force that could bring some other risks regarding, for example, just the normal civil liberties of people. So that could be a concern regarding, for example, the past dictatorships and the past what Uruguayans have faced before regarding the constriction of civil liberties. So that I think that will be a concern, and maybe that's not the best way to deal with these insecurity problems or these drug dealing problems at this time.
Yvonne, for joining us in from the South and really helping us better understand what is happening today in Uruguay, and we'll be sure to follow closely on this country in the coming hours and days. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
That was Dr. Tellez, international law expert on Uruguay's general election that is underway today. So